With a whopping 140% increase in marijuana seizures at the state's border with Canada, tonight we're taking a closer look at the impacts that this uptick is having on border agents.
That is a huge increase, and not only that, but the process that you could go through if you are caught at the border with marijuana or any other illegal drug. As Channel 2's Jeff Preval reports in this Two on Your Side original report, marijuana arrests at the border are certainly on the rise.
We recently met with agents from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and within minutes of us getting to the Peace Bridge, border agents told us about another marijuana arrest that happened just a few hours earlier. Officers tell us a Canadian resident was arrested for attempting to cross the Peace Bridge on a bus with this bag containing 37 grams of marijuana stuffed in his underwear. Agents say the man admitted to buying the marijuana from a dispensary in Toronto.
I mean, that's just an example of you guys find it everywhere.
Exactly. It could be any traveler, anytime.
Late last month, border officers at the Peace Bridge seized about 10 pounds of marijuana. And just days later, stopped 17 pounds of marijuana from crossing the Peace Bridge. 2 weeks ago, a Canadian man was caught upstate with marijuana and charged with possession.
When you have more seizures and more cases, I'm sure that there is a domino effect.
Sure. I mean, seizure processing does take time. It takes an officer time to process that. So some resources do go into that. It's something we did before, but like with any increase, it takes a little bit more resources to do it. But with the staff we have on hand, we're able to handle it.
Have there been any changes in terms of the interview process, as someone is approaching the border?
No, there has not been any change at all. The officers have the same line of questioning that they had before.
Are the agents maybe looking out for it at least maybe a little bit more, or have greater awareness?
Sure, I mean, they're aware that it's definitely possible. More people have the ability to possess it because of the ease of access, sure.
Officer Michael Taylor, who supervises customs agents, knows his officers have to act fast when people are trying to cross the border. Typically, interviews are about 30 seconds to a minute long.
Well, 30 seconds is a relatively short time for an officer to make a decision whether they're going to release a vehicle or not that may or may not contain illegal narcotics on it. So it is a challenge.
If there's any concern about you or what you're bringing, you could end up in a screening room or holding cell.
We're standing in this holding cell. I mean, this is serious stuff. People shouldn't play around with this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes people ask, like, well, how long is the processing going to take? Can I get back on a bus and go on my way, or can I get back in my car and go on my way? Well, we tell them we brought drugs across the border where it's illegal, so it's going to take some time until decisions are made on how it's going to be handled.
And if they think drugs are hidden in your car, these rooms are used to take cars apart. But despite police raising awareness not to bring marijuana into the U.S. and road signs in Canada with the same message, marijuana seizures have shot up from 40 in October of last year to more than 100 this past October, a rise of 140%.
Do you fear that for every person you catch or everyone who you detain or arrest that, there may be someone who's getting away with it?
We're aware that there are probably some folks that are getting away with transporting illegal narcotics. We do our best job to determine and thwart those drugs coming into the country.
Is this the new normal?
We hope the public gets the message not to bring this across. We're aware people are going to go up there and recreationally use it, leave it in Canada. Don't bring it back.
Now, not only is marijuana illegal at the border, but so is medical marijuana, because officers at the border follow federal law, which prohibits both. Now, at a minimum, people will face a $500 fine for having marijuana at the border, but of course, depending on the amount and whether someone has a criminal record or not, could lead to federal or state charges. Customs officials say that this is actually their slow time of the year. Their busy season is the summer, so these marijuana seizure numbers could rise. I'm Jeff Preval, Channel 2 News.